Okay, we're gonna call this take one because probably not gonna get it right on the first time. I'm going to piece together a couple of small parts of a big hour-long workout that I did earlier today, and try to do it in 5-minute increments if I can get going quick enough and it doesn't take us too long. We're going to start with the roll up. So you need a resistance band for this series, and that is all. A mat is nice too. If you have a hard time rolling up without assistance, you can put the resistance band around your feet, make it as tight as you want it to be, and roll down. Think about your arms being an extension of the band and your lats engaging to help you come up. Okay, so we're gonna do 4 of those. Roll all the way down, tuck your tailbone, roll your spine down to the floor, and then tuck your chin and roll your spine up off the floor, reach for your toes, and go back down. So this should be slow and controlled. Your legs stay on the ground. You can follow this direction of your spine kind of staying low and rolling down, or you can roll up, nose shoots towards your toes, and then come to sitting tall before rolling back down. I might have done 4. That sounds good. Okay, so now we're gonna put our feet close to flat on the ground. Knees are slightly bent, and come into a slightly posterior pelvic tilt. If you want support or something to press into to find that length in your lumbar flexion, then you can put something here and kind of press into it. But I want you to keep that little bit of lumbar flexion the whole time. And we're just gonna do small C shapes, rolling down essentially and rolling back up, but we're just staying in this top portion. So you can really concentrate on the different areas of your ab engagement and feel how your hip flexors are involved in this activity too. So once you've done that a little bit, you can bring some rotation in. So think about rotating from your rib cage up. So thinking about finding a chest opening and thoracic rotation, keeping that lumbar flexion. We don't want to be hinged or arched here. We want to be in a nice comfortable seat. Okay, good. Come down to your back. Bring your knees into your chest. Single leg stretch. You can put a towel behind your head and hold your head up if your neck doesn't like all of this neck flexion, and kind of work your way up to it. But if you can handle it, just tuck your chin, look at your toes, and we're gonna go one leg out, rotate to the other leg for 6 on each leg. Both legs in, come down, shake out your head a little bit. And I'm gonna do double leg stretch, and then we're gonna do crisscross, but if you don't feel like doing double leg stretch, I'll let you skip this one. Tuck your chin, and we're gonna go both arms out, both legs out, and in. We're gonna do 4 of these. Rest down for a second. Legs are in tabletop. Crisscross is one of those exercises that can be done really wrong or it can be done really well. So I want you to think about you're curling up, getting your shoulder blades off of the mat before you rotate opposite elbow to knee. So you're not just in one vertebrae rotating, you're curling up and bringing some real height to the other side. So your rib cage is rotating, just like we did in the second exercise, if that was the second exercise. I want you to do 6 on each side, but I'm not counting. So I'm gonna do 2 more and then I'm gonna call it good. Okay, on to the fun parts. So, you're going to turn to your side. You can have your resistance band for these things or not. We're gonna do a little glute activation with the side lying leg series. You can pick different exercises for this and you can also do it standing on a yoga block or a stair, and I'll do a video of that one of these days. But lying down, your bottom leg's gonna be bent, your top leg is straight out, and you can support and stabilize with this hand a little bit, but I want you to think about engaging your core and lengthening here, keeping your hips stacked. This is the position. Okay, so I like to point my foot for circles. I don't really care if you do or not. You're gonna do circles in both directions, 10 each direction. You wanna try to keep everything pretty steady. I don't know where I want my leg to be right now, and that's okay. And I might have gotten to 10, so I'm gonna go in the other direction. Once I'm done with 10, I'm going to press out. So basically it's like you're doing a squat. You want to think about your glutes engaged, your psoas is engaged, you are moving in a marching position, you're just not getting anywhere because you're laying down. I think 6 or 8 of those would be sufficient. Keep your knee bent and do a little fire hydrant. So this is not a clamshell. Your heel is not stuck to your other heel. Your heel is in line with your knee and your hip, and you're only going as far as you can go without your pelvis opening up. So it doesn't have to be a big movement, and there's a lot of different variations that you can do in here, which are great. But we're just gonna go straight up and down for a few, and really think about that femur getting in and moving around in the hip socket. So I usually do like 4 of those, but I think I did 8, and I feel like that's sufficient for today. So we're gonna flip around and do the other side. So set yourself up first. Make sure your hips are stacked. Bottom knee is bent. You're lifting in your core, and your leg is straight. Hip, knee, ankle are in alignment. Point your foot if you want, and circles. So if you're not feeling this right here, then you're probably doing it wrong. I can't say that with a straight face, but it's true. So you want to be kicking slightly behind you. That'll get that kind of hamstring glute area to turn on. And you want to be, it's hard to stay steady. Go the other direction. We'll keep going with this. If your hips aren't stacked, so one hip is back from the other or forward from the other, you're gonna lose your engagement. So if you're you're in a stable, stacked position, you're going to feel this in your glutes. I don't care if you do this every day for 10 years, you're still going to be able to find the engagement. So it's not so much about it being super hard or having to do 50,000 of anything. It's just about finding the right way to get the muscles to activate. I moved on. We're doing a squat laying down with one leg. And we're doing about 6 or 8 of these. And then we're going to keep the knee bent and fire hydrant on up. Fiona loves this one, and I have a lot more range of motion on this side. Okay, so about 6 or 8 of those, and we're good. So I'm going back this way because the floor tilts that way and it starts to feel weird. Lying on your back, bring your legs to tabletop. We're gonna see if that glute activation works. So I can do this motion. We're gonna do open book. We're gonna do 6 of them. So you can get started if you want. I can do this motion without really engaging muscles. And that is not really what we're after. So side butt controls the out, adductors control the in. This is a technical term, side butt. And you want to be able to feel it even though it's really not that hard. But your pelvis is staying steady and you can really get a lot of involvement in your lower abdominal muscles and your pelvic floor and your glutes and your, it can be really good. You just have to pay attention. I did more than 6, so I'm going to stop now. All right, so I don't even think I mentioned what this was all for, but we're prepping to do squats. So grab your resistance band. One leg is going to stay flat on the ground with your toes pointing to the ceiling, and the other leg is going to come straight up in the air. And if your hamstring is having a hard time doing this, it's okay. Just find a place where your leg can be fairly straight. It doesn't have to be way up here. This is fine. But do a couple arcs and feel how your butt is engaged in this activity a little bit. Your hamstrings are engaged. Your adductors, quads, everybody's working. Just a little bit, not a lot. Leg up, keep your femur where it is, bend your knee. Okay, so we're kind of isolating joints here. So hip joint is flexing and extending. Do about 4 of those. Knee joint is flexing and extending. We'll do 3 of those. Why not? And then ankle pointing and flexing. And I want you to do 8 of those. So you're going to do 8. Just point and flex. The ball of your foot should be on the resistance band, and you're pushing straight into that. And you want your foot to track over your ankle. So after you do 8 of those, you're going to bring your pinky toe side of your foot to the ceiling. So I don't know if you can really see that, but the knife hand side of my foot is going towards the ceiling. And then after you do 4 to 8 of those, you're going to go big toe side of your foot towards the ceiling. So one side in, other side in. Basically, you're just moving your ankle in the different ways that your ankle moves. And then point and flex again for at least 4. So we're trying to get a little mobility in the ankle. Do a couple more arcs just for good measure, and then switch legs. So however fancy or not fancy you want to get that done, you just do it. You can, if you want this foot on the ground and your knee bent, that's fine. But we're working up to leg circles here, so it's a good habit to get into. Your pelvis is staying steady, and you're not stressing your hamstring too much. Okay, so we did some arcs, hip flexion and extension. Now we're doing some knee bends, trying to keep our femur steady and just bend and straighten the leg at the knee. And then, I don't like where that is. Point and flex the foot 8 times. Yeah, I didn't have anything to say in there. Pinky toe side, big toe side. Finish out with some regular points and flexes. Ooh, this ankle is struggling. And then do a couple arcs. All right, now we're going to try it out. Come to standing. Find yourself a squat position. Get in your feet first. Think about the arch of your foot being the base of support for this movement, and that stability and support coming all the way up the inside of your legs into your abdomen and up into your chest. And engage a little bit so you can find all of those muscles that we just turned on in this exercise, and do some squats. And those will come later. Okay, take it easy.